Hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. We're at the end of a pretty busy day today. They all seem to be like that now because we're spending so much time traveling to and fro from our house to Tagbilaran. Tagbilaran at the moment is quite a difficult run because of the roadworks that are going on, so means that it's about 8 hours, between 7 and 8 hours in the truck driving. And we took Dennis up to the hospital and saw him admitted, gave him some cash so that he and his support team of his girlfriend and sister are able to subsist while we're there. Whenever people go into hospital here, they need their own support team. So, as I've said before on occasions, that what seems like a fairly straightforward thing for Westerners is not a straightforward thing here. And boy, I was reminded of this very much today. Because when you walk into the government hospital in Tagbilaran, it literally, it's like a war zone. All of the corridors have been turned into wards. It's not a case of an occasional bed in there. The wards are full, and the hallways are full as well. People are sitting on stairs. We were a little unpopular when we showed this before. We did a covert camera shoot, a walkthrough of the same hospital that we were there today and that Dennis is now in. It's not a criticism. It's not a criticism of the staff of the hospital, because they are doing an incredible job under the most difficult circumstances. So when you go and there are beds in the hallway, it's not just a case of that there are beds in the hallway. They are bumper to bumper, if you want to use the traffic analogy. And the people that are there to support whoever is sick or injured or in that hospital, they sleep on the same bed. So there might be 2 or 3 people on a bed. If it's a child, without any question, there will be a sister, a younger brother, or an older sister, a mother, a father, and they'll be on the bed with that kid as well. It's a very sobering sight, and to see these people in this situation is just awful. Now, why would I bring this up? Well, you know, I see that very rich people in the West are giving away, I don't know, $100 million. They'll give away $100 million. The guy that invented the computer and got it into everybody's house, $100 million. I see it. I see it reported, people like Brad Pitt, $20 million on buying a collector's quality wristwatch. $20 million. And over here, there are people who are suffering. There are people who are suffering all over the world. We're not making a special case for the Philippines other than we're here. And we're just trying to do what we can in our little area. So we took Dennis up and we saw him into emergency, that you get admitted in emergency. We haven't heard from them since we got back, but we made sure that they were okay as anybody can be in Dennis's situation, because he's been given 1 year to live. This young man is a hero, because he never complained. He never moaned or griped, or he put anybody that complains about their foot or their leg or whatever to shame by accepting that he's going to lose his leg. Can you imagine? Now we've had a lot of messages saying, well, maybe he could try this, or he could try that, and he could try the other, and it's past that. It's gone past that. The surgeon that we spoke to, unfortunately, wouldn't allow us to video him, but he was quite frank about it. He was the one that said he has this amputation which is about to take place is not to cure the problem. It is only to help the patient to handle the pain, which is extreme now. And in fact, he wouldn't be able to survive that pain. Heaven knows what would happen, but anyway, that's not going to happen, because we'll make sure that he's taken care of in one way or another. So we've been told that is 40,000, but in fact, when we got in to pay for that, 35. Was that for Dennis that we did that, honey?
What?
That 40,000.
Yeah, that's for Dennis.
That was for Dennis. The surgeon agreed on the phone from his secretary. He agreed to not give us a refund. Not a refund. He discounted his fee of 40,000 by 5,000. So not only is the experience of seeing people in this situation, facing it with courage and not complaining and getting on, still being able to smile, still being cheerful, it's amazing that the surgeons, the other surgeon, the surgeon that did just to let you know if you haven't, because what's being revealed is that people are coming in now fast and furious. Up to yesterday, we were increasing our subscriptions by nearly 1,000 a day. It has been amazing. It's slowed down a little bit now, but we'll continue on. We are nearly at 25,000 now, and soon will be, probably at the end of tomorrow. So we're seeing some incredible responses by people. We actually said, Beth said that she noticed that if it was a pretty woman, people would help and donate and support that more quickly than if it was a male. Well, we haven't found that the case with Dennis, which has touched hearts very much. Now, what I wanted to touch on is what has, for some people who are more proper than we are. When I say proper, perhaps I really mean who are more politically correct than we are. We're not politically correct, by the way. We make our titles which will get people to look at the video, so that whoever we're making the video about will get some help. That's the whole focus of what we do. So are we going to change? No, we're not. We've had a long email from someone who is very supportive normally, and starts his email or message. He starts it off by saying, "I love what you do. You are doing a great job, but..." And then he goes on to explain his viewpoint as to why we shouldn't show, say, Dennis, why we shouldn't show certain things about a person's case. Now, I deleted that message because in its focus, it's not doing us any good. I just deleted one now. We gave at the three little girls after we'd taken the mother of the 4 little girls, to see the doctor, we took her to lunch with us when we went to meet our friend Stephen from Hong Kong, and we took her there, and she wasn't all herself, but we took her and one of her children and her mom, and we took them, and people saw how she is. And the whole point of showing the reality of what people are going through is so that people will have their emotions moved. Why do you think you go to see a sad movie? You go to see a sad movie because people like to have their emotions stirred. Isn't it strange? We will go to see a movie about someone dying if it's a well-made movie and it stirs our emotions, makes us feel sad for a given time. We may even cry in a movie. I mean, that's not... I mean, women and men go to see movies that make them cry. Well, if it is that you shouldn't show these things in real life, then that idea, that concept doesn't make any sense to me. And the other thing, these are people who support us regularly, but they're not, I don't think that they're thinking the thing through. Then, for instance, the blind Sarah, the blind girl. Now, somebody wanted her to be called Sarah the Beautiful Filipina. No one will look at some of the titles that have been given to us, but we called Sarah, I think one of the titles that we gave to her was the Husking Queen, the Coconut Husking Queen, Blind Queen, or something like that. They're emotive titles, and they're going to stay. And I've just been hijacked. What?
Yeah, I know that our titles, I know that some of our titles are wrong.
No, they're not wrong, actually.
No, I mean the grammar, that's what,
Oh, well, grammar, yeah. Well, I think that everybody accepts that that you're doing better in your English than they certainly, myself included, would have a clue about doing it in Visayan or Tagalog.
Yeah, because I make it complicated. Sometimes if I don't know, then I just make it, even if it's tuad-tuale, tuad-tuale.
Yes, heaven forbid she should ask me for the correct...
Yeah, and Terence says to me, but what's this? And I said to Terence, it's part of strategy, it's part of marketing on in our channel, because I said to Terence, I didn't listen to my teacher in marketing. I get something on it, that it's part of marketing. So if you want your product to be sold, then do something that makes different from others. So I did it in the title, we argued with Terence, because we're not arguing, okay? It's just a combination. it's just the title. The Terence says the title of this driving is Beth Learn to Drive, right?
No, I said Beth drives. I wanted to call it Beth Drives the Big Blue.
Yeah, and I said.
But.
Yeah, and I said to Terence, let me do my title, okay?
No, she didn't actually. She didn't ask me to do anything. She just did it, which is this is what we find. Anyway, my dear. Go ahead.
No, I'm just replying a message. We're hoping to start our house number 32 next week. Once we got enough funds to kickstart the projects in the Life of Faith.
Don't we have some money for that that's been left over from other things?
No, because in fact...
We don't have anything?
No, because in fact in house number 31 there's a balance of 1,700 which I get from our Patreon, so from our Patreon account. So that's why we're out. So once we get enough to start get the wood and some materials to start the projects, then we're gonna do our house number 32. And I got a message here for house number 32.
She's gone. Are you coming back?
No.
You're not. But you were in the middle of a sentence. I know that feeling well. What?
I'm finished.
You're finished. Okay. And my whole thought process is in pieces. She came through like a typhoon and left as quickly as she came. So, but back to talking about the titles. Back to showing people in their situation. Now, if I say to you, somebody with a broken leg, but I only show the smiling face of the person with a broken leg, how real will it be? Well, I don't think that it will be real at all. But if I show you what we saw, remember that when we go in to do a video of anywhere, we might pause before we go in, and I say, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what we will find in this video. We're going to do a video, and that's all we know. And so we approach someone or some situation, and we don't actually know what's going to happen. Well, we then show you the real life. And why would we not show that real life? Now, another person said, well, you are monitoring, you are censoring what you think should be seen. And that's true. We are doing that. And somebody also said, well, it's your right to speak your mind. And that's true too. It's our right. I don't believe personally in speaking a mind that is very negative in its focus. I don't believe in giving a platform to that kind of comment. I don't believe in profanity. I don't believe in nitpicking. I don't believe in catcalling of another person who is subscribing and has presented a viewpoint in a reasonable, logical, maybe not even logical way, but if they've been nice, then why would they not be allowed to voice their opinion? It doesn't matter if it is in agreement with me or Beth or whatever. A lot of people didn't agree with some of the advice that Beth gave on one of her Ask Me a Question sessions. But that's okay, as long as they don't come out and say, oh, well, you're effing this and you're effing... It's fine by us. We're just a feel-good channel. But if with the three little girls, we have a sponsor there who has sent food. Sent for food. We go along to the Sari store and we get a box made up to the amount that we have to spend. Say it might be 1,000 or it might be 1,500, and then we take that box of provisions and we give it. In this particular case, we took along some provisions and we gave 1,000 pesos into the hands of the responsible child who's going to have to buy stuff. Now, the mother of her mother, in other words, the grandmother, is there and she has plenty of support. But somebody said, and you think that 1,000 pesos is going to cure her? Be a fat hope. It lasted for as long as it took me to reach for the delete button. Because how does it help? So, titles, they will continue to be as they are. Will we show what we're showing? We're not showing human misery for the sake of showing it. We're showing what we can while maintaining a respect for the people in our videos, but so that emotions will be stirred and people will make an effort. Somebody just said that they will send $20 to our Patreon account so that it can be used for Dennis in his, maybe for helping him with food or something like that afterwards. He's going to need some help. We're going to have to get him a wheelchair. We're going to have to help him. Going to have to get him home. That's one thing. We haven't quite worked out how we're going to turn the ambulance, the Big Blue, into an ambulance where a man who's just had a leg amputated is going to be able to be comfortably transported home and then got to his house. We're talking about sometimes, as in the case of Desiree, walking over a mile along a dirt track. That it is just that. We have made it up to Desiree's house in the Little Red, but I don't think that we were that popular. We are going over the land that is owned by other people, that's why. So, titles, it's not going to change. And what we show is not going to change. We try to honour people and try to glorify the human spirit, and we try to show you the kind of thing that devastates us when we see how some people are having to survive. That's what house number 32 is right now. House number 32. Go and have a look at the video, and that lady with a child comes to church, doesn't complain, and is living on a dirt floor next to an open well that she's unable to board over. We're going to have to do that and get that and maybe turn that into a septic tank so that they can have a CR or a bathroom close by. We're going to try to work that out, and we need funds for doing that. Okay, so, well, we've swapped about from one thing to another, haven't we? But I think I dealt with what I really wanted to do, despite being hijacked. Thanks for looking in. This is A Foreigner in the Philippines. You can like, comment, subscribe, share. It all helps. Sharing really produces, even a couple or 2 or 3 shares, produces a change for the better that you would scarcely believe. So if you can think of one person who you can actually truly say, hey, just listen to this, just watch this, you'll be amazed, then do it. This is A Foreigner in the Philippines.